Yes, Zermatt, the crown jewel of the Alps, a place where the views are so breathtaking, they almost make you forget you're here to ski. Almost. Because once you actually clip in, the illusion falls apart faster than Taos' snowpack did this season. Sure, you'll get your fair share of scenic gondola rides and overpriced rosti, but you came for world-class skiing. Well, I hope you enjoyed North Star level terrain dressed up in designer Swiss packaging. Don't believe me? Well, here it is, a hater's guide to Zermatt. Alright, before the Swiss Tourism Board sends a hit squad of Toblerone-wielding ski patrollers after me, let's get the disclaimer out of the way. This video is complete satire. Nothing here is that deep. Don't take it too seriously. I don't actually hate Zermatt. Anyway, let's get on with it. Look, I'm not a powder snob who always needs huge pillows and 50-degree cool waters to be happy. I mostly ski extremes, but for Zermatt, I lowered my expectations. Like, significantly. All I wanted was a few cruising groomers with halfway decent snow. Sounds reasonable, right? And yet, I still walked away incredibly underwhelmed. Because once you get over the whole, wow, look, it's the Matterhorn phase, the truth starts to hit. The terrain is just so freaking lame. Zermatt is basically just a glorified network of cat tracks with the occasional steep pitch that lasts maybe 15 seconds tops. And the thing that stood out the most? The absolutely insane amount of traversing you have to do. Zermatt takes everything people complain about at Vale and Heavenly and turns it up to 11. I didn't come to the Alps expecting to spend half my run skating like I was at a Nordic training camp. And the people you're sharing that terrain with? I always hear that Europeans are better skiers than Americans, cleaner form, better etiquette, more mountain sense. And maybe that's true somewhere else. But if Zermatt is supposed to be the shining example of European skiers' superiority, yikes. I mean, just look at this footage, you see what I mean? And it's not just the occasional idiot either. Every run at Zermatt feels like rush hour, but with rental skis, confused tourists, and absolutely zero demonstrated spatial awareness. And just when you think the skiing can't get any more frustrating, you remember that you have to get back up the mountain. But we'll get to that mess later. For you to really understand how disappointing this place was for me, I think it's best if I walk you through my 4 days in Zermatt, step by step. So let's dive right into it. Day 1 started with a bit of optimism, mostly because I was still under the illusion that the iconic ride up the Gornergrat meant I was about to experience something special. Spoiler, it didn't. Yeah, when the highlight of your ski day is public transportation, you know you're in for a pretty rough time. Once I actually clipped in, reality hit fast. The snow? Reminiscent of the East Coast. The groomers? Super mid. It was like skiing on a giant billboard advertising how pretty the Matterhorn looks, because that's all Zermatt is at the end of the day. The funniest part was that you could barely even see the Matterhorn on this day, which begs the question, without the views, what the hell does Zermatt even have left to offer? And after all that congestion I mentioned earlier, yeah, the Gift Hitler pod was hands down one of the most insane examples I found. Now, look, I get it, it's a beginner area. Every resort has one, and they serve a purpose. But this? This was chaos. A swirling mess of wedge turns, abrupt stops, people skiing in random ass directions, and that was just day 1. If day 1 was disappointing, then day 2 was just straight up disrespectful. This might go down as the single worst day of skiing I've had, period. And I'm including the time I skied Whistler in 2022 when it poured rain from top to bottom the night before. Let's start with the snow. I didn't even know freeze-thaw cycles were a thing in the Alps at this elevation, but apparently Zermatt found a way to make it happen. I was skiing on a combo of boilerplate ice and sun-baked mush in the same run. It was like Zermatt couldn't decide what season it wanted to be in, so it chose all of them at once. And if that wasn't enough, the visibility was yet another Whistler throwback, the kind of thick, soupy fog I haven't encountered in a hot minute. Between the fog, flat light, and crap snow, it felt like you were skiing more by faith than by sight. Then came the crowds. Again. I thought the Gift Hitler pod was bad, but the bottom of trail number 3? That was a level of anarchy that nothing in life could have prepared me for. It was so bad that we quit skiing right then and there. I'm not joking. In nearly 20 years of skiing, this was the first time I was so frustrated that I quit before noon. By the end of the day, there was genuine talk about ending the entire trip early. Zermatt had broken me. After 2 days of some of the most miserable skiing I've experienced, day 3 started with something I hadn't felt in a while. Hope. Blue skies. Fresh snow. It was the kind of morning that made me think, maybe, just maybe, this place is about to redeem itself. And to be fair, it kinda did. Given that it was the first proper powder day of the trip and the absolute mediocrity of the groomers, we figured early on that there was no point in staying on piste. And what a brilliant decision that was. Turns out, the secret to enjoying Zermatt is to completely ignore Zermatt. Yeah, we had to risk our lives to have a good time. There was, unsurprisingly, a fair bit of Avi danger on the off-piste. Honestly though, risking a slide for life felt like a small price to pay compared to more laps on Zermatt's lifeless groomers. But this is still Zermatt, so of course there had to be a catch to the day. After a late lunch at the Staffelalp hut, we planned to ride up the Hurley lift, take the number 56 trail, and download via gondola. Seems simple, right? Well, turns out Zermatt doesn't prioritize crucial access trails in mid-January. For all the talk about how Europe's snowmaking and grooming is better, I certainly didn't see a damn bit of it. So number 56 was closed, and the only way out from the bottom of Hurley was the lower half of trail number 51, which, in case you were wondering, is exactly as awful as it looks on the trail map. And just when you think it's over, number 51 hits you with an absolutely brutal uphill section at the very end. Still though, day 3 was a win. By Zermatt standards. After day 3, I dared to believe the worst was behind us. I was wrong. So very wrong. The day started off fine. We were skiing off the Gant Hotali tram, enjoying decent conditions and actually having a good morning. The plan was to take the tram up once more and ski down to Fleury to transfer to the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise. However, when we got back to Gant, the tram had gone down for a mechanical issue. The workaround? Take the Hublo Express up, ski down to Asia, ride up the Breitboden, take the number 27 trail to Riffelalp, hop on the Gornergrat Railway, and transfer to the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise. Ridiculous? Yes. Doable? Technically. So we get to Breitboden only to find the number 27 trail closed, and the app confirmed it. But wait, the app now said the tram was back open. We could even see it running in the distance. So we skied all the way back to Gant, and, shocker, the tram was still down. At this point, the app had gaslit us into doing a full circuit of the mountain for absolutely no reason. So what do? We did it again. Ventured back to Breitboden, ducked the rope on the closed number 27 trail, and prayed it would be relatively safe. Yep, the only way to transfer between mountain areas at this point in time was to duck a rope and take a chance on a closed run. By the time we finally made it to Matterhorn Glacier Paradise, it was well past noon. The plan? Hit the summit terrain, the one thing we'd been building toward all day. But of course, when we got there, we found out the summit was only open for foot traffic. That's right. All those pristine upper mountain runs? Entirely closed off. And just to make it sting a little more, the app said they were open, because of course it did. And it wasn't the weather, it wasn't visibility, the runs were in perfectly good shape. The resort had 2 full days to mitigate the Avi risk and still hadn't opened them. We rode all the way to the top just to really soak in what we couldn't ski. It honestly felt like the mountain was taunting us, and it was at this moment that I realized Zermatt just might have the single worst ops team I've ever encountered at a ski resort. I took a deep breath and reminded myself that somehow, for once ever, Vail wasn't responsible for this absolute masterpiece of mediocrity. Now look, I know I've been crapping on Zermatt this entire video, so let me take a step back and say genuinely, the food is incredible, the people are lovely, the town is spectacular, and the views are absolutely world class. I mean that. But here's the thing. I didn't just come here for the fondue and photo ops. I came here to ski, and the skiing experience, it sucked. So really, what's the point of any of it? You can have the best restaurants, the most scenic train rides, and 5-star chalets overlooking the Matterhorn, but if the actual skiing is lackluster and actively makes you question your sanity, then all that other stuff just starts to feel like a distraction. Or worse, a cover-up. After spending a good bit of time here, I can safely say that Zermatt is a destination that excels at everything, except the very thing you actually come here to do. All my love, I'm out.